introduce a wonderful person, great businessman, and I consider a friend, Mr. Tommy Doe. He grew up in San Francisco. He's the oldest of three and the first generation in the United States from Vietnam. Growing up, he was told to study hard, get good grades, and all your dreams will come true. Following the wishes of his father, he pursued a career in science and graduated with a BS in biology. In 1999, the burning entrepreneurial itch was ignited after reading a book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. The road has been a tough one because Tommy did not understand something called the higher laws, which is passion, attitude, mindset, all key components that make one successful in life. Presently, Tommy resides in Fremont with his wife and 3 children. He loves to read and listen to positive books and audios. So without further ado, Tommy Doe.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. How are we all doing today?
Good.
Great. I hope we all had a great Father's Day with our families yesterday. And my name is Tommy, again, for those of you that don't know me. I am very honored to be your speaker today, and I'm actually very excited to be talking about a topic that I'm going to share with you today. And I believe that this topic is something that is very a crucial component in making us successful in our life and in business. And the topic today is basically something called the lens effect. Before I get started, I want to share with you my personal story. And this personal story is going to relate to how the story that I want to share with you on the lens effect. So my family migrated here in 1980 in hopes of a better life for the kids. And we're first generation, and I am the oldest of 3 children. And being the oldest in an Asian family, there comes with a lot of responsibility. So all the responsibility fell on me as the oldest in the household. And my dad, when he came here, he worked extremely hard, 20 hours per day, driving a taxi, and he worked very hard. But as hard as he worked, he always took the time out to help us with their schoolwork. He believed that being the first, basically from a different country, English as your second language, he truly believed that as an Asian child, you had to dominate at math. So I think back to those days, and it gives me nightmares, to tell you the truth. I'm the only kid that probably started their times table at a very, very young age. From the age of 5, I could remember basically being drilled on 1 to 12. You know, he would say, what's 8 times 8? And if I said it wrong, you know, I would really, really get it from my father. It's one of those things, as a parent, there's no book that is written for us to how to be a perfect parent. We do our best, but the thing is, it's usually duplicated through the parents beforehand. So the way my father taught me was, if I said 8 times 8 was 65, basically I would have to squat, and he would put books out. And the more I got wrong, the more he would yell, and the more the books got heavier. And I kid you, I'm traumatized to this day. I hate math, right? I use my telephone to add, right? So I tell you this story because all those things, the physical abuse did not get to me. Even all the lashes that I took as a parent. The thing is, my dad has a temper. So the more I got things wrong, the more the verbal abuse came as a 6-year-old, 7-year-old throughout my life. You know, that I was dumb, I ate dog poo, you know, and all those things stuck in my head. And the result of that was I went through life probably doing very well in math, but I was never an A student. So something happened along the way that I started to avoid failure, if that makes any sense. Because as hard as I studied, I was never an A student in the science and the math. I always, if I got a C and it became a B, and I studied very hard, I would still get yelled at. So all my life, I kid you not, I went through school, I didn't study much, and I tried my best to get a C minus, you know, doing the minimum. Because it would felt nice to tell my friends, you know what guys, I didn't even study, I got a C. Would you get a B? That's terrible, right? And that's how my view set was, because I avoided failure. And I shared this story with you because, you know, through life, it affected me in terms of how I view the world. You know, all that changed a year ago when a bunch of my associate friends asked me to go to a concert. And I was like, concert? Sounds like fun. So I went out to this concert, and it turned out to be a Christian speaker, right? The name of Joyce Meyer. So the whole time I'm sitting there and I'm listening to her, and she's described this lady, Joyce Meyer. She's describing how at a very, very young age, she was raped by her stepdad over and over and over. And at the end of her story, she said to me, she didn't say to me, she said to the audience, she said, you know what, I don't regret at all what had happened to me throughout my life. And I was like, what the heck is this lady talking about? What do you mean you don't regret it? It was puzzling. Like, why would she say this? So right when she said that, what she said, well, let me tell you the reason why. I don't regret a minute of what happened to me in my life, because all the things that happened to me throughout my childhood, whether it's good or bad, it's made me who I am today. Without those things happening, I wouldn't be here today and making an impact on all thousands of lives. And that's how I took it. And she shared with me something. She said, the whole time I'm tentatively listening to her, and as I said, she was talking to me. She said, listen, all the good things and bad things that happen to your life basically is to make you are who you are meant to be. She said, think of life as like this, a big pot of a dish that you're going to make. When you're making a dish, it's full of lots of ingredients. And if you combine all the ingredients together, each ingredient by themselves is not very good. But if you combine all the ingredients together, it actually is a very, very good dish. So I want to share with you something. I started thinking, my wife is Filipino, so sometimes I have to cook in the house, and I cook a dish called chicken adobo, right? So the main ingredient in there is, chicken, right? So there's soy sauce, there's vinegar, garlic, but the vinegar, I started to think about it. The vinegar by itself is terrible. It tastes very, very nasty. But when you combine everything in there as a whole, it's a tasty dish. So I started thinking about it. You know what? My dad is the vinegar, right? He's the vinegar in my life. And it's okay. I'm not mad. I had to let it go, because for a long time, I felt like I'm blaming, somebody for the way I turned out in life. And I let it go. And basically, my dad, I just thought of him as the vinegar. What elements, what other ingredients in my life is missing to make me a whole person? And basically, that's what I took out of that. But, today, because of that one incident, it opened my eyes to a lot of things in life. So I started, what it opened me up was, it opened me up to the whole, basically, library of knowledge and wealth that are written by successful people today. And basically, I started to read a lot, and I started to listen to positive CDs, and it's done wonders. I recently read a book called Resolve, 13 Resolutions for Life, by a guy named Warren Woodward. And it's a phenomenal book, but inside that book, it's a lot of things that I want to share with you. And basically, Mr. Woodward says in there that in life and in business and in any enterprise, we're going to have to realize that we will have to start to develop the right kind of thinking so that we can see the world the way that a leader sees the world. He goes on and says that the problem is that a lot of times when we are born, because the way we are teaching and the way we are brought up, most of us put on what we call the victim lens. And I share with you that story because it correlates to the victim lens. Because here's what a person with a victim lens puts on, thinks about. Nobody's helping me. No, I've never had an opportunity. I can never do that. Under my situations, my circumstances, I can never get those things done. But the problem is this. This year has opened my eyes up to a whole new world, because I met so many people that for everybody that has always complained about all the situations and scenarios why they couldn't get it done, I have met somebody else with the same exact situations, if not worse, that was able to pull it off and was able to make it. And it opened my eyes up. I'm sure you guys heard of people that always say that I don't have a market, or I'm too shy and I'm too quiet, I can never do that. I've heard it a lot of times. I was that guy, right? But I'm meeting so many people and it's opened my eyes. So I want you to think about something. If those situations and those scenarios were truly, really the true reason why most people couldn't succeed, then everybody with those scenarios would not succeed. Wouldn't you agree? But yet some people do. Why is that? It's because of the lens that they are seeing the world through. So let me give you an example of what a lens is through my readings. A lens, basically, there's a movie that I've been dying to see. I haven't gotten to see it yet, but anybody watched Superman yet? Man of Steel? No? So anyways, imagine this. We are all going to march down, and we're all going to go to watch Superman, Man of Steel, off of Automall. Okay, we're all going to march in there, and we're going to watch it in 3D. And all of us, we're going to pick up the 3D lens, and we're going to all put it on. But somehow that day, SB here decides she does not want to put it on. Maybe it's too cool for her, so she doesn't want to put it on. So we are all watching this movie through our 3D lens glass, and we're actually dodging bullets, kind of dodging flying objects and reaching out and grabbing stuff. But I look over at SB there, and SB, you know, she's just sitting there, and I say, hey guys, look at SB. She's a total dud, right? She's just sitting there with no reaction. We are all watching the same exact movie, but because she has a different lens on, she's not getting the same, basically the same reaction and the same view that we're seeing the world through. So basically in life and in any situation, you know, with a different lens on, some people will see an opportunity, whereas others will see problems. And that's what I have discovered, you know, and I shared with you my victim lens, and you know, I've decided that it's only up to us and us alone to actually put on the lens that we want to put on and how we view the world. You know, the next lens is basically something called the follower lens. And this is great because the follower lens is basically moving upward. And sometimes with the follower lens, it's great because these people actually have discovered and found out some principles that allow them to step outside of the victim lens. But the victim lens basically thinks things like this. Basically, they want to find out which way the crowd is going, which way is everybody going, because they truly just want to fit in, right? Their biggest fear is really stepping out and getting out of the crowd. And it's great and all, but the problem with the follower lens is that if you really are just doing what everybody else is doing in life, you're probably going to get what everybody else is getting. And it's great and everything if you truly are happy with getting what everybody else is getting. But if you really want to get basically get what everybody else, the finer things in life, and you want to be above average, you're going to have to do the things that the average person is not doing. And you have to step out, you have to actually step out and be unique and take chances and go with it. And that's the world of entrepreneurship. So, third lens, the performer lens. And this is great. I never knew there was one level higher than the performer lens. And this is basically what I've always strived to be because I've always been in sales. And performer lens is basically whatever it is, I'm going to get it done. And it's all about me, right? But I have discovered that there's one big lens much better than the performer lens. And the performer lens is great and everything. But here's the difference with the next lens, the leadership lens. Through the eyes of a leader, I have discovered that they think things differently. Through the eyes of a leader, anything is achievable if you put your heart, mind, and soul to it. They see the world, and basically, it's a whole different concept. It's not about I. It's about we over I. It's about the concept of team over me. And that's what I love about it. And the whole concept of leadership and team is really the whole idea that you're able to care sometimes more for others than you do yourself, you know, and basically being a leader, you're able to leave behind a legacy. And that's what I want to do, you know, basically leaving behind a legacy is so important. When we think of people like Abraham Lincoln, and we think of people like Zig Ziglar, you know, they have made huge impacts on people's lives by touching them. You know, I think Zig Ziglar says it best when he said that if you help enough people get what they want in life, you will get what you want in life. And basically, that's so true, you know, and that's the beautiful part about having a leadership lens, because you view the world and it's a whole team concept helping each other grow. You know, to tell you the truth, I've never thought like this. You know, it's very new to me to think the way I think. I've always thought, for me, and all that growing up. Did the minimals that I could do so that I can get by because I was afraid of failure. But my mindset somehow miraculously changed through the amazing miracles of books and CDs and listening to people that are successful in life. Sometimes I chat with a lot of people in here and through successful thinkers. You guys have helped me out and made a huge, significant impact on my life, and I thank you for that. Because I see the world now, and it's a whole new world for me. Because I want to share something with you. It wasn't so long ago that I joined a business, and it was really, truly an unfamiliar territory to me. And I found that the biggest change that I saw in myself was the moments when I stepped outside of that comfort zone. And that's when I started to see change and I started to see growth. I believe that the biggest fear that holds people back in business and in life is fear. When I started, I kid you not, I had a big fear of public speaking. I got married in 2007 and they handed me this mic to say a few words and I tossed it right back to my wife. And we played like a hot potato, right? And I ended up seeing the video today and I feel like, my goodness, it's so embarrassing. So fear, I had a fear of basically big rejection. I did. It's kind of weird. I'm in sales for a long time and I have a fear of rejection because I was so fearful of rejection that I would not share what I do with my families and my friends. But all those things I believe that are holding people back in life. I recently read something that I want to share with you. It says that, and it's a quote from Buddha. It says that the secret, and this is very, very true after I read it, because it applies to me. The secret to happiness lies within one's inner self. It begins with having the strength and the courage to conquer one's own fears and weaknesses. You will never find true happiness if you do not challenge yourself and change yourself from within. And I tell you, that is so true, because I was telling somebody I'm more happy today is because I'm taking a step forward and doing things that I'm so afraid of doing. And that basically is a first step towards growth, right? And it goes on and says that you should not compare yourself to others. That's the big mistake I did in the beginning. It put me through huge depression because I'm always comparing myself to the other guy, right? So do not compare yourself to others. What you should compare yourself is who you are today to who you were yesterday, and who you are today to who you will become tomorrow. If you continually do that, and you continually be a master at your craft, I believe that if you continue to grow, you will achieve what you want. You see that picture right there? That's a bamboo tree. I am a bamboo tree. Someone just shared a story that I found pretty profound. I'm going to share that with you. I am a bamboo tree. If any of you guys here that are in business and you're still struggling to get it moving, the thing is you need to focus basically on yourself and your growth. Because the guy that shared me the story of a bamboo tree, he said that there was once a man and his son. They planted a bamboo tree. And basically on the first year, they kept watering it. And a whole year passes by, they come back and they check it. And there was no growth at all. They kept watering it. On the second year, no growth. Third year, same thing, no growth. Fourth year, no growth. Somehow on the fifth year, when they come up to the tree, it had sprouted 12 feet high in the sky. Was it dead or dormant those first 5 years? No, it wasn't. The thing was, it was growing. It was growing downwards. It was establishing a foundation and the roots so that it can hold up a tree 12 feet high. So if you are struggling and you are still doing everything that you should be doing, but you're not moving, I encourage you to keep moving. And because, like, you too are a bamboo tree, you just don't know it. I've heard so many amazing stories that people share with me, how they've struggled, and basically the time came and they sprouted 12 feet high. Thank you.
Thank you, Tommy, for